Hello, welcome to Ms. Peepers Reading Corner. I'm Katrina, aka Ms. Peepers. Let's talk about books. I need to get like a shortcut key or something for that. Anyway, welcome. Happy Thursday for watching this on the day that it is out. Y'all, I'm mad about something and I want to talk about it. If you watch a lot of BookTube, then you may have seen that Carl over at Please Read Your Book made a video a couple weeks ago that went viral. It pissed people off and they harassed him to the point at which he temporarily shut off his channel. And why did they do this? The video talks about 4 things he wished he'd known before he started BookTube. And he pointed out that making videos is hard, that viewers are difficult to attract and retain. That upset people. I need some pearls to clutch. Like, okay, I watched this video shortly after it was released because I'm subscribed to his channel, so I saw it pop up. I enjoyed it. I commented as much. I moved on with my life, and like nothing seemed particularly offensive to me. And then I started seeing response videos pop up in my feed, and I was like, oh, good for him. He's getting some traction. Then I watched one of those videos, and I cannot remember the creator. I apologize, but that video, that creator said there was controversy, and I was like, really? Controversy? Over this? And so Carl spoke up in support of thoughtful videos that don't get a lot of attention, especially book reviews. He used some hyperbole and a dry sense of humor and said basically nobody watches book reviews. And of course somebody watches book reviews, but like he is not incorrect that those videos tend to get less traction than big emotional videos or either positive or negative emotions or book tags or other types of videos. And many of those viewers who theoretically are readers, I would assume, because they're watching a BookTube channel and watching someone talk about making BookTube videos, they didn't catch that that was hyperbole, and they got really, really offended. I guess people don't like the idea that the internet is often an echo chamber of half-baked and unnuanced ideas. Am I getting in trouble for that? Because it is. It is. Y'all, if you're here, then you've been on the internet. You've got to see that, right? And that doesn't mean that all of the internet is like that, but it creates a space for more calm videos, more thoughtful videos, more complex videos. It makes it harder for them to get through. Now, Carl privated the video after all of this. He briefly took down his channel, and he since posted a video sharing his perspective, which I linked in the description. I definitely encourage you to watch it and watch his other videos because he's a good creator. I'm glad his shutdown was only temporary. The short version of that is that he was on vacation when the video posted, and he didn't want to deal with all that fallout while he was traveling, which is more than fair. And I'm glad he's not gone forever. But plenty of people are not as thick-skinned as Carl. Plenty of people would take something like this and it would break their channel. And the other thing that breaks a channel is the uphill battle of the almighty algorithm. And these two things really do go hand in hand. I've been a booktuber for about 18 months. I make long-form videos. Some of them are live. Some of them are more planned out than others. I've had varying success throughout those 18 months. And I've made some shorts too, which tend to do better than long form videos, which we'll talk about. As I was typing notes for this video, because hearing all of this stuff made me so mad that I just sat down and typed like the Jim Carrey meme, typed out all sorts of thoughts. And I looked at my own analytics and got a snapshot. So this is from a couple days ago, as of the last 28 days, basically. So I have 180 subscribers, plus or minus, my top piece of content is a short starring one of my cats, the effervescent Sylvie. It's gotten 805 views, and the video itself is 1 minute and 17 seconds long, but the average view duration of those 800 and some views is 19 seconds. So let that sink in for a minute. Like, most people won't watch a minute of a beautiful cat. I'm biased. She's the most beautiful cat in the entire world. Don't tell the others. But, like, I know I'm biased. She's an adorable cat. She was being a cat. And I thought the internet loved cats. You don't have a minute? So anyway, attention spans. And I noticed my own attention span shortening year over year, which is one of the reasons that I like to read physical books, one of the many reasons, because it does help me keep my attention span longer. The next 3 of my top videos are also shorts. And then the number 5 video, as of the last 28 days, is a live show that I did a couple weeks ago about the book Murder Your Employer. That had gotten, as of a couple days ago, 34 views. It's a 33-minute video, and the average view duration is 7 minutes and 48 seconds. So YouTube has told me all of this stuff. Analytics are great. They're also kind of stressful, so I don't try to look at them too often. But my most recent video, so the one before this one you're watching right now, is a review of the book The September House. It's been out for about a week. It's not doing as well as the previous ones, not just in the amount of time people are watching, but like people aren't clicking on it at all. And I have no idea why. And this is not a complaint. This is like a genuine confusion. I have no idea why. The thumbnails are very similar, like compared to Murder Your Employer. You got the blood and the red and similar vibe. The post time, the day of week, that's the same. And I don't know if it's because people just aren't interested in that book, or it's the time of year, or if it's just a blip, or is it the start of some sort of downward trend? I have no idea, and I don't have enough information from the YouTube analytics to tell me why, and that's incredibly frustrating because I can't improve without data. Now, I'm not in here to make my first million on YouTube, fortunately, but I can only imagine if I were a creator who depended on income to look at something like that and have no idea what makes this video different from the others. That's got to be scary, especially when you're dependent on that video, on that channel. And BookTube has a formula, which admittedly I don't follow, but I follow booktubers, and not all of them do this. Carl does not really do this, but others do. And it goes something like this. Every month you post somewhere between 4 and 8 videos-ish, plus or minus, depending on how much you want to post, and they contain some combination of the following. The first 2 things are non-negotiable. You have a TBR video at the beginning of the month, and you have a wrap-up video at the end of the month. You can combine these if you want, but really you should separate them because people will... It's almost expected. You do 1 to 2 tag videos, 1 or 2 vlogs, 1 dedicated review of a book that you either loved or hated, and that's in all caps. Loved or hated. Big emotion. Can't be meh on a book you review. And then 1 maybe set of live reading sprints. And that adds up to 8. But like they're combinations, right? So I'm a newish booktuber. It's been 18 months, as I said. I'm focused on making the content that I want to make. I'm not catering to the algorithm. And I knew from the start that my channel's growth would be slow. But still, there's always going to be a part of every content creator who is hoping for their big break, the viral video that puts them on the map. And that's just human. Regardless of what your ultimate goals are going in, there's a little part of you. If you don't feel that way, you are, I think, a statistical anomaly. And that's okay. You can be an anomaly. That's fine. There's also going to be part of every content creator who kind of wants to do this full time, even if they know that's not realistic or if they know they would hate it. But there's part of that, I guess, daydream of being able to quit your traditional job and just do this all day, read books and make videos and sit at home with your cats, to make enough money from ads and sponsorships and memberships and Patreon to replace that salary, and also pay for your healthcare if you live in the US, because like, why would healthcare be free? That's ridiculous. It's so freaking expensive. Anyway, that's another rant for another day. The point is, everybody kind of wants that, I think, even if they don't really want it, if that makes sense. And I should probably break the suspense here. I'm not quitting BookTube. I know I had a really dramatic thumbnail to draw all of you in. And if you're still here, you get that answer. Congratulations. But I completely understand why someone would stop doing this. we're doing a lot of work and not getting much reward. And that's any definition of reward, whether you're thinking about views or money or thoughtful conversations in the comments or just the feeling that you brought some sort of value to somebody else by making content, or art or whatever kind of, videos that you're making. And and if you make content that you're posting online, like whether you're editing videos or taking photos of your breakfast cereal or making random musings about random topics in, what is it, still 288 characters? I don't even know. Anyway, you're doing that with some hope of some level of engagement, even if you're expecting something small. If you didn't want that engagement, you wouldn't post it in a public forum online. You'd put it in your journal. You'd make your art and hang it on your wall or whatever it is that you're doing. You do it at home in the privacy of your own space. So being part of a big channel or going viral, however you define that, whatever big channels look like to you, you get disconnected from your audience to a degree. You can't answer every comment. You can't, like, the illusion that you can make everybody in your audience base happy disappears. You can't. Like, if you have more than one person in your audience, you're not gonna make everyone happy. That's just how it is. And even if you just have one, you're probably not gonna make them happy every time. Regardless, if you go really viral very quickly, you run into a whole lot of people who are people who like you, obviously, because they're watching your video, but then you also have people who use that relative anonymity of the internet to tell you exactly what they don't like about you. Isn't that great? And if you grow gradually, that happens gradually, and you can kind of get used to it. If you go viral all at once, it all happens all at once, and I can only imagine that would be really overwhelming. And it sucks. It sucks. It's not that we shouldn't hold people accountable. Like, you can disagree with people, and freedom of speech is not the same as freedom from consequences. You can say whatever you want, but if someone disagrees with you, they can tell you that. And I think you can do that in a polite way, but you don't have to be assholes. You don't have to be an asshole. You don't have to you can disagree with someone without bullying or name calling or making accusations or, whatever it is. I don't know what people wrote in Carl's comments, because when I put my comment in, it was still very early, and so people were still being nice. And I think from what I understand from bigger creators, when you first post your video, you get like your immediate audience, and then it gradually works its way out to people who are further and further removed from you. So the people who visit your channel a lot, or like are coming back to your channel, are the ones who are genuinely interested and like see you as someone that they might respect, or whose opinion they're interested in, or just someone that they like. So they're more likely to be polite, more likely to be kind than someone who comes across you and has no idea who you are and has no like connection to you at all, which sucks. Like, seriously, be nice to everybody. But I can imagine what people wrote in Carl's comments. And I've heard a little bit of it from some of those other videos talking about it, but I didn't read them myself. Thank goodness. I would have been even more angry than I am right now. And I doubt that I'm going to change anyone's opinion here about how to engage on the internet. But if you're still here, you probably are similar, like you're still here on this video. you're probably of a similar mind anyway. But I challenge you to consider how you're showing up online. And you're probably more thoughtful if you're still here. You might be planning a takedown, in which case, like, seriously, really, you're gonna be upset. You're gonna be upset with me for saying don't be upset. Don't be an asshole. Like, that seems really easy. Anyway, but we all slip sometimes. I slip sometimes. I'm fairly certain on this channel that I've referred, for example, to J.K. Rowling as a trash human. And while that's true, it's not constructive, and it's not polite, and it's not very mature either. Like, let's be honest. But anyway, before you hit post, whether it's on a YouTube comment, Instagram story, Facebook post, or are the things on X still called tweets? I don't know. I'm not on X. Anyway, just give your text a quick reread. Make sure it's really what you want to say. Make sure that you're coming across. And if you want to be an asshole, I can't stop you, but make sure you're doing it intentionally. Make sure that's actually what you're trying to do. Because I think one thing that happens with people is that if you are saying, if you say something that comes off differently from the way you intended it, sometimes people will double down rather than acknowledge fault. And so they might make a comment that sounds a little bit like, that sounds rude or that sounds offensive, or just they were typing quickly and said something not quite the way they meant to. And so, but if that happens to you, because we all do it, look, we're all human, it happens to all of us sometimes, then just own it, acknowledge it, apologize if that makes sense. Like, I mean, that's all any of us can do. Be better next time. Do better next time. Learn from it. And I'll tell you that, like, one of the things that scared me the most about starting a channel, like, ultimately, because after the pandemic, I'd gotten used to seeing my face on video from doing Zoom calls at work. But, like, one of the things that scared me the most was I didn't know what people were going to say in my comments, because I know that some people are terrible on the internet. And I haven't really gotten any truly awful comments yet, and no, that's not a challenge, please don't. But it's inevitable. If I stick with it, it's inevitable. Someone is going to come and say something horrible, and I've just got to be ready for it. And I've got to take care of myself. And so to all of the Carls out there and various people, anyone who's run into this, like, unexpected maelstrom online, hang in there. Do what you need to do. Protect yourself. And I hope you choose to come back. I really, really do. The way the internet is set up, the algorithms of social media, and just the massive scope of content that users have to sift through to get to any video, those things reward quick and easy and samey, similar sort of content. But that doesn't mean we all have to do it that way. And if you want to do it that way, that's fine. But if you don't, you just have to be ready to work a little harder and wait a little longer to get that break if it ever comes, which, even if you are doing the quick, easy, samey content, you still might not get that break. Like, that's still within the realm of possibility because the internet is so flippin' big. Anyway, those are my thoughts. And I know there are other reasons that people quit BookTube. I know that there are other reasons that people just get tired or bored or, have other responsibilities, and, like, just because someone shut down their channel doesn't mean something terrible happened to them. But I've just been thinking about this over the past couple weeks because of what I'm seeing happen to another small channel. Carl's channel is actually a fair amount. It's about, 4 times the size of mine, 5 almost. But still, another relatively small channel. Like, this can happen. Anyway, please let me know what you think in the comments, and politely, if you don't mind. And whatever you do, if you're here, please keep reading. And if you made it to the end of this video, put, like, a book emoji in the comments or something. Let's try that. Let's see who got this far. Put in a little book emoji. If you don't feel like chatting, that's okay. And either way, I'll see you in the next one.